Record admissions at University of California. What you need to know. In 2025, the pessimists got surprised. California's public universities admitted their largest ever class while battling funding cuts and political storms. Here's what you need to know about this admissions paradox. The University of California system offered first-year admission to 100,947 Golden State students, 7% more than last year, and 22,230 international scholars. Despite federal visa restrictions and immigration policy shifts, this growth raises an intriguing question. How is UC defying national trends of reduced international student enrollment? Leaders call the admissions surge a vote of confidence in the UC brand. California families recognize our campus's deeds life-changing opportunities, said UC President Michael Drake, who steps down in July. But beneath these numbers lie steep challenges. International student admissions skyrocketed by 17%, a remarkable spike given recent federal crackdowns on visas, travel bans, and immigration policy changes that have discouraged foreign applications. Yet UC Berkeley saw its first-year international admits nearly double, from 735 to 1,463 students. UC Santa Cruz admitted 4,836 international freshmen, down slightly from 5,249 last year. But challenges persist. Only 4% of accepted internationals enrolled there in fall 2024. Financial crosscurrents intensify the pressure. Proposed state budget cuts forced a system-wide hiring freeze. A spring lawsuit thwarted $37 million in NIH research funding cuts. But new threats loom. Non-California residents face $3,400 plus tuition hikes with minimal aid, while international students remain ineligible for federal loans, a policy UC defends as necessary to maintain academic quality despite enrollment drops. Nowhere is this tension clearer than at UC Berkeley, where first-year admits grew 8% to 20,000 plus students, nearly tripling international applicants, 10% of admits. We set our admissions targets in October, before Election Day, said spokesperson Eileen Zerudo. Our standards remain world-class regardless of political winds. Beneath UC's 73% acceptance rate for California applicants lies significant diversity progress. 42% of admitted Golden State freshmen are first-generation college students. Across all racial groups, including understudied Pacific Islander and Native American communities, numbers rose, defying debates over racial preferences in admissions. But here's the dilemma. Future growth depends on political outcomes. State lawmakers reversed proposed 8% budget cuts, yet President Drake warned that proposed financial constraints threaten our capacity to serve. With submission rates lagging for non-Californians, only 25% of international admits enrolled system-wide last year. Can UC sustain this growth model? You might wonder why international students keep applying despite regulatory hurdles. The answer lies in UC's academic prestige and California's welcoming reputation. But tuition revenue is a critical backstory. As one observer noted, UC can't grow forever without stable funding and immigration policies. Final tally. 180,382 students admitted system-wide for fall 2025, including 9% more out-of-state applicants. Santa Cruz admitted 57,100 students, 73% acceptance rate, while Berkeley maintained its 13% rate. The big question remains, will UC become a test case for balancing affordable public education with global academic opportunities? Share your thoughts below. Should universities defend dream big admissions when budgets tighten, or prioritize domestic students? UC Admissions 2025. Record Californians accepted, but Berkeley UCLA stay selective. The University of California, UC, has made headlines by admitting a greater number of California residents for the upcoming fall semester compared to the previous year. However, This increase is not reflected in the admissions at the system's most prestigious campuses. In total, UC has welcomed 149,368 first-year students, which includes 100,947 Californians. This marks a 7% rise in the number of in-state students compared to the admissions for fall 2024, as reported by UC on Monday. This surge in admissions is primarily attributed to the increased number of Californians accepted at the Merced and Riverside campuses, with some growth also seen at the Davis and Santa Cruz campuses. This growth compensates for the decline in first-year California residents accepted at other campuses, notably UCLA and Berkeley. It's important to note that while more students are admitted to these elite campuses, a significantly higher percentage of those admitted choose to enroll there compared to Merced and Riverside, where only a small fraction of accepted students actually attend. Additionally, the admissions data reveals a positive trend across various racial groups, with increases in the number of admitted Black, Latino, Asian, and white students throughout the system. Most campuses have also seen a rise in the number of students from other states and countries, as well as an increase in transfer students from community colleges. The overall admission rate for first-year students was 77% for Californians and 73% for all students, both of which represent a 7% increase from the previous year. In recent years, UC has been under pressure from lawmakers to provide more opportunities for California residents. As part of an agreement with Governor Gavin Newsom, UC has committed to enrolling more in-state students in exchange for annual budget increases. However, this year's funding increase has been postponed and will be allocated to UC in future years. President Michael V. Drake expressed optimism about the growth, stating, "We continue to experience significant growth, a clear indication that Californians recognize the value of a UC degree. Our latest admissions numbers demonstrate that families across our state recognize that UC degrees prepare students for a lifetime of meaningful contributions in their communities and far beyond." Merced has seen a remarkable increase, admitting 17,481 more first-year Californians than last year, which is an astonishing 72% rise. Riverside also experienced a significant boost, offering admission to nearly 17,000 in-state students, a 46% increase compared to fall 2024. Conversely, Berkeley and Los Angeles have reported declines in the number of first-year Californians offered admission, with decreases of 8% and 2.4% respectively. There were also slight reductions at the Irvine, San Diego, and Santa Barbara campuses. On a positive note, Berkeley was among the campuses that admitted more transfer students from California community colleges, with the system as a whole admitting 27,845 transfer students, reflecting a 6% increase from last year. Hanmi Yoon-woo, UC's Associate Vice Provost and Executive Director for Undergraduate Admissions, stated, "Creating pathways to a UC education for a wide range of top California students yields benefits not only for those students, but for the state at large." In addition to California residents, UC has also extended admission offers to a larger number of out-of-state students, with 2,150 more domestic out-of-state students accepted than last year, representing a 9% increase. The increase is even more pronounced for international students, with UC admitting 3,263 more than the previous year, a 17% rise. UC Berkeley nearly doubled the number of admission offers extended to international students, increasing from about 760 for fall 2024 to 1,469 this year. This year, just over 24,000 international students applied to Berkeley, a slight increase from the 22,300 applicants last year. Given the uncertainties surrounding the state budget and potential federal funding cuts, UC stands to gain from enrolling more out-of-state students who pay significantly higher tuition than California residents and will face even higher costs this fall. However, UC has indicated that the increased offers to international students are partly due to growing concerns about their likelihood of enrolling. Many experts and college staff across California and the nation are worried that international students may be less inclined to enroll this fall due to fears that the Trump administration could revoke their visas. Earlier this year, the Trump administration abruptly canceled the visas of over 1,500 international students nationwide, including many in California, although these terminations were later reversed. The administration indicated that Immigration and Customs Enforcement was developing a policy framework for potential visa cancellations. In conclusion, while UC has made strides in admitting more California residents, the elite campuses remain highly selective. This situation raises questions about the accessibility of higher education for all Californians. What are your thoughts on the balance between maintaining selectivity at prestigious institutions and expanding access to education for a broader range of students? Share your opinions in the comments below. UC Enrollment Trends 2024, More California Students, International Growth. The University of California is reshaping its admissions landscape in a way that's sparking both excitement and debate. But here's where it gets controversial. While the system is admitting more in-state students overall, the most selective campuses are bucking the trend. This shift raises questions about access, equity, and the future of higher education in California. Let's break it down. According to data released by UC, the system admitted 149,368 first-year students for the upcoming fall term, with 100,947 of them being California residents, a 7% increase compared to fall 2024. This growth is largely driven by a surge in admissions at campuses like Merced and Riverside, which saw staggering 72% and 46% jumps in-state first-year students, respectively. Davis and Santa Cruz also contributed to the rise, though to a lesser extent. However, this progress is offset by declines at flagship campuses like UCLA and Berkeley, where first-year California resident admissions dropped by 8% and 2.4%. And this is the part most people miss. The disparity doesn't just stop at admission numbers. Campuses like Merced and Riverside, despite admitting more students, have much lower enrollment rates because only a small fraction of accepted students actually attend. In contrast, UCLA and Berkeley, while admitting fewer, see a far higher percentage of admitted students choose to enroll. This creates a paradox where the system's most prestigious schools remain highly competitive, even as they admit slightly fewer in-state applicants. The racial diversity of admitted students also saw gains across the board, with increases in Black, Latino, Asian, and white student numbers system-wide. Meanwhile, UC expanded its reach beyond California, admitting 9% more out-of-state students and 17% more international students than last year. These groups pay significantly higher tuition, a fact that becomes even more relevant this fall when non-resident tuition is set to rise sharply. But what happens if political tensions disrupt these plans? Earlier this year, the Trump administration abruptly terminated visas for over 1,500 international students nationwide, including many in California, before reversing the decision. This uncertainty has left experts and college staff worried that international students might hesitate to enroll this fall. UC's press release cited rising uncertainty of their likelihood of enrolling as a reason for the increased admission offers to international students. But the real story may be more about financial strategy and academic ambition. The system's push to admit more in-state students isn't just about fairness. It's also tied to a political deal. UC agreed to enroll more California residents in exchange for annual budget increases under a pact with Governor Gavin Newsom. However, this year's funding boost was deferred, leaving the university to rely on out-of-state and international tuition to bridge the gap. So, what does this mean for the future? UC President Michael V. Drake called the admissions numbers a sign that Californians recognize the value of a UC degree. But critics argue that prioritizing in-state students at the expense of diversity and financial stability could backfire. And let's not forget the transfer students. The system admitted 27,845 from California community colleges, a 6% increase, which highlights another pathway to higher education. Here's the big question. Can UC balance its mission of accessibility with the financial realities of running a world-class university? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the focus on in-state admissions is a step forward? Or does it risk alienating the global talent UC has long relied on? The debate is just beginning.